Rob Cross, Murray State University.
Tell me about your general thoughts for the upcoming season.
Well, my general thoughts about this season are that, of course, we're excited. We're ready to get it tipped off on November 11th. We open at home against in a doubleheader with our men, so I'm excited. Our fans are going to have a chance to see both teams early and get our season started off in a home game. But the most important thing right now for us for this season is the fact that our team has faced a lot of adversity already. We've had an assistant coach, Tony Cross, who was the head coach at Belmont before he became an assistant at Murray State, has been diagnosed with cancer. So he's fighting that battle, has not been with us on the court or in the offices in meetings yet, but he's fighting his battle and our team's fighting that along with him. And then we have a sophomore point guard, Casey Fountain, who's from Louisiana, and she's actually taken this semester off and is at home right now helping her family rebuild their home and their lives as they lost just about everything in the floods in Baton Rouge. So our team, although we're excited about the basketball part of the season, we faced a lot of adversity as a family, and we're growing together. And the biggest thing I want for this season is for all of our players, fans, and everyone involved to understand, a lot more important things than basketball games. And what we're taking from this is that we have to treasure every moment together and every moment on the court. So we're talking a lot about living in the precious present and being servant leaders, not just for our community, but for each other, and helping each other as much as possible as a team and as a family. And then whatever basketball throws at you in the ways of adversity surely pales in comparison to what we've already dealt with as a family. And we're going to enjoy every moment of the season, whether it be trials, tribulations, and ultimately triumph. That's our thoughts on the season right now.
You reference your team to being like family. What do you like most about your team?
The best thing about our team right now that I like is the fact that we have a lot of experience. We return all 5 starters from the team that finished the season and advanced to the semifinals of the tournament last year in March. So with all 5 starters back and 2 key reserves, 7 of our top 9 players, that experience has allowed our team to be more of a player-coach team so far in practice this season. And I truly believe player-coach teams are better than coach-coach teams. So I'm excited about that.
Your experience is back, but what are your biggest challenges for the year?
Our biggest challenges for this year is going to be fighting the disease of me. And, we have a lot of people who put up good numbers at the end of the season. I think we have a Player of the Year candidate in Keshana James. And, how we blend together and how we use our talents to serve the other people in our family on our team is going to be critical. Do we allow the little things to bother us, or do we remember the lessons we've learned?
What do you think about OVC competition this year?
What I think about the OVC, what I'll do is I'll put Murray State over here on one side, and then maybe the rest of the conference over here, and I like to call them the basket of deplorables. Okay, no, but I really think this is going to be another exciting year in the conference. So much parity in the league. Every coach is going to talk about how anything can happen on any given night, but it's really true in OVC women's basketball, as evidenced last year in the tournament. An 8 seed beats a 1. We win as an 8 seed against a 1 seed and advance to the semifinals. And I believe Coach McMillan said after the game, that's not really, he was asked about losing to an 8 seed, and he said, that's not really an 8 seed over there. That's more like a 4 or 5 seed. And, that was not a statement about Murray State's team. That was a statement about our conference. That's really how tight everything is. I believe you have Belmont returning just about everybody from winning the tournament. Eastern Kentucky and Martin are probably everybody's top 3 right now. But then when you get past that, it's Murray State, SIUE, SEMO. Jacksonville State's going to be a tremendously improved team this year. Tennessee State has a lot of people back, plus a Hall of Fame coach and Larry Joe Emmett on the sideline. It's just going to be a tough league day in and day out. Morehead State scored the ball as well as any team in the country last year. So they're going to be able to win games. Eastern Illinois is going to fight like Debbie Black fought as a player on the court. So every night you're going to be facing a tough challenge in the Ohio Valley Conference.
There were several key rule changes last season, including the halves to quarters. How do you feel that impacted the game?
Well, I do believe the rules changes did what they were supposed to do, which was shorten the actual time of the game. That was one of the goals for the rule changes, and that happened. One thing going to quarters, really, I think it affected games. The number of free throws went down. The way the game's called now, it's called tight, but the number of free throws dropped because of the foul situation resetting at the start of each quarter. So that impacted games. For me, as a coach and certainly as a fan watching the games as well, the best thing about the rules changes are the 2-for-1 situations that happen more frequently throughout the game with quarters coming into play, and then the end of the game situations where you have the timeout and the ability to advance the ball into the front court to run sideline out of bounds plays in those late game situations, I think really made games more exciting for fans.
Tell me about your non-conference schedule.
Our non-conference schedule is set up to have our team prepared when we tip off OVC play on New Year's Eve against Tennessee State at home. And we'll start off with a home game against Eureka, which is a Division III school and the alma mater of former President Ronald Reagan, I think, is the thing that college is most famous for. And then we have Alabama A&M coming in a couple of days later. So we start the season with a couple of home games. Then we go on the road against Southern Illinois, one of the top schools with top women's basketball programs in the Missouri Valley Conference. We have home games against UNC Greensboro, which is part of a setup that our conference entered into with their conference so that each conference can get more home games. So we have UNC Greensboro, a new opponent for our fans, coming to our place this year. Then we'll return there next year. A tough road trip against Ohio University, which is a 20-plus win team each of the past 3 or 4 seasons, an NCAA tournament team, and East Tennessee State also part of that scheduling consortium. That's going to be a very tough road swing that will help prepare us for the swings like we have to go to Jacksonville State and Tennessee Tech in conference. And then we have a home game against Lipscomb, home game against the University of Evansville from the Missouri Valley. Those are regional rivals in Evansville and SIU that we're excited about, Lipscomb as well. We have a new opponent on our schedule this year in Northern Kentucky. We go there first. And then a big one for me is we go to the Wichita State University tournament in December. And Jody Adams, the head coach at Wichita, was the head coach at Murray State for 1 year, and I worked with her that year. And we won a championship together, a tournament championship together. So that's going to be exciting. And the new athletic director at Wichita State, Darren Boatwright, is a Murray State graduate, former men's basketball manager and student assistant, and a former assistant athletic director at Murray State. So we'll have kind of a racer reunion in Wichita, and then a tough road contest with Mississippi Valley State to help prepare us, our final preparation for OVC play.